Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Shrimate Siddha Swarupananda Paramam Saiti Namine Namo Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Gaurakarana Swarupaya Radha Krishna Vanchakapatubhyascha Kripasin Via Evacha Patitanam Pavanevyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Vaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Ram. Well, before I read, maybe you have some questions? Any questions about anything? You have a question, Sonny? No? Okay. Questions? I will read from the Nectar of Devotion. We're discussing the different relationships that the individual soul can have with God. It's not just that he's always the boss and we're always the slave. This is not a very pleasing relationship for either Krishna or the individual soul. Actually, one can actually understand that God is their child. Now, that's a long way from being your boss. But this is the mood of love that the individual spirit soul, the devotee, can feel for God. Some examples. There is another description of Mother Yashoda in a devotee's prayer. The devotee prays, "Let me be given the protection by Mother Yashoda, whose curly hairs are bound with thread, whose hair is very brightly beautified by the vermilion placed in the part of her hair, and whose bodily frame, Haribo, and whose bodily frame derides all her ornaments. Her eyes are always engaged in seeing the face of Krishna, and thus they are always filled with tears. Her complexion, which resembles the bluish lotus flower, is enhanced in beauty by her dressing herself with many colorful garments. Let her merciful glance fall upon all of us, so that we may be protected from the clutches of Maya and smoothly progress in our devotional service." So, for a devotee, not only can we meditate upon Krishna, but we can meditate upon Krishna's devotees, like Mother Yashoda. Mother Yashoda is always thinking of her child, Krishna, always wondering if he's maybe stealing the yogurt or if he is safe watching the calves and cows. She's always engaged, her mind is always engaged in thinking of Krishna. And of course, there is a famous story that Balaram once approached Mother Yasoda and said, Mother, Mother, Krishna has eaten dirt. And Mother Yasoda said, really? He said, yes, Krishna, little Krishna, he is eating dirt. Mother Yasoda became very afraid that it might make her son sick. So, and this was not a very clean thing to do anyway. So she called Krishna over. Krishna, your brother tells me that you have been eating dirt. Is that true? Krishna says, no, I have not eaten any dirt. Of course, there's dirt all over his mouth and everything, you know. So she says, Krishna, have you eaten dirt? No, Mama, I have not eaten any dirt. Okay, open your mouth and we shall see. And so Krishna opens his mouth. And Mother Yasoda looks to see if there's any dirt. And she doesn't see any dirt, but instead she sees the entire universe inside Krishna's mouth. All the planets, all the stars, the suns, all the different heavenly, the demigods, everything, all inside of Krishna's mouth. And she's immediately taken aback. And then she looks again. And she sees it. She sees that. She sees even, she's looking at the planet Earth and she's seeing herself breastfeeding her own son Krishna inside of Krishna's mouth. And she's, what? And she backs away. And then Krishna brings the curtain of Mahamaya over her eyes. And she looks at Krishna. At first she's thinking, oh my gosh, Krishna must be some kind of a demigod, or he must be some very powerful person. But then Krishna pulls the curtain of Mahamaya over her eyes, and she looks and she just sees her beloved son. Her beautiful, beautiful son, Krishna. So this wonderful relationship that is a reflection of the relationship that you may have with Krishna. By nature, we are female. This sounds like a good thing to the LGBTQ people. But by nature, we are not the body. We are neither, theoretically, we are neither male nor female. But Krishna is the supreme male in all of creation. And his energy is the female aspect. So Krishna is the supreme male, and all of his energy is Radharani, the supreme female aspect. And we are all part of that female aspect. The individual soul is by nature female in our relationship with Krishna. This is, again, not to be understood in the materialistic male, female, you know, what we have on this planet or in this material world is a perverted reflection of our relationship with Krishna. I read somewhere once that, actually I think Prabhupada said this, that persons individual souls and God are to be loved, and things are to be used. But in this world, we got it backwards. We use people and God, and we love things. This is the unfortunate situation in this world. So, how can we attain this amazing love that is beyond all comprehension? How can we attain this eternal relationship that each of us has with Krishna, whether it's being a parent or a son or a lover or a friend? All of these relationships are possible between you, the spiritual entity, the individual soul, and Krishna. And it is eternal. How do we recover that long-lost relationship? It is by hearing and chanting the holy names of God. The name of God is pure and perfect. It is not covered by anything material. It comes to us directly from the spiritual sky, from Krishna. It is his name. Krishna is the most intimate name, his most intimate name. Krishna, Govinda, Gopala, Keshava. He has so many names, and in each of these transcendental names, he has invested all of his transcendental energies and power. And by chanting his holy name, we come into contact with that transcendence, with that amazing energy and power of Krishna. And by doing this, we actually conquer death. Death has no power over a devotee. The loss of this body simply means moving on, moving along. There is no fear. It's actually simply another opportunity to engage in Krishna's service. In death, a devotee thinks only of his guru and of Krishna. And he gives his life in death, even as he has in life, to Krishna, to his spiritual master. This is the secret of bhakti. This is how we can conquer death. This is how we can actually experience real happiness. We're all looking for happiness. We're all looking for joy. The trouble is that it is fleeting. We have some fleeting taste of a candy bar or some fleeting loving relationship. Maybe it lasts for a lifetime, but it doesn't last beyond that. The only loving relationship that you can have that will last beyond this body is your loving relationship with Krishna. And if you love Krishna, automatically you love every single living creature. Because you recognize and you see the love of your life within the heart of everyone. This is the transcendental vision of a pure devotee. And this is what we should all aspire for. And this is why we chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. This transcendental sound is the most powerful and yet the most subtle thing that we can utter. It gives purpose to our voice. It gives purpose to our tongue. It gives purpose to our life. It gives glory to God. Everything you do, everything you see, everything you taste, every time you chant, every time you get up, every time you go to sleep, offer it to Krishna. When you chant, chant as an offering to Krishna. When you chant your japa, chant. Don't just simply try to meditate on, it's okay to meditate on Krishna's lotus feet, or it's okay to meditate on, the form of Krishna. But do it in your mind. Help control your mind by doing it as an offering. Let me offer this to you, Krishna. Even as I offer my food to you, even as I offer my life to you, let me offer my chanting. Let me offer my kirtan. Let me offer my guitar. Let me offer my instruments, my drums. Let me offer everything I have, everything I am. Let me offer to you all the time. Haribo, guys. You can go outside and talk if you like. Let me offer everything to Krishna. This is the secret of true happiness. This is the secret of Ananda, true bliss, eternal happiness in our eternal relationship. This is so difficult for us to understand. How can something be eternal? Everything we know has a beginning and an end. Everything we know has a beginning and an end. We don't know in our experience, for lifetime after lifetime, we have not experienced eternality. The whole concept, on the one hand, is like foreign to us. But on the other hand, it is our true nature. And it's been buried for so long in this temporal existence that we have forgotten our eternal nature. So, let's revive it. Let's glorify God with everything we have, everything we are. The perfection of the eyes is to see Krishna. The gopis used to be very upset. They would say to the Lord, "You have made our eyes imperfect because we have to blink. We cannot see Krishna all the time." because we are having to blink our eyes. And when we blink our eyes for a moment, we don't see Krishna. But this is the secret of real happiness. This is the secret of understanding and finding your purpose in life, the purpose of your existence, the reality of who you are and what you're doing here. We all want to know that, and we all usually make some kind of compromise. Okay, all right, I'm here to be a politician, or I'm here to be a cook, or I'm here to be a maidservant, or I'm here to whatever. But that is not who you are. That is not your eternal purpose. Find out what you were put here for, what your true purpose in life is, by chanting the holy name of God. Hare Krishna. Are there any questions? Once again, you guys understand everything perfectly. Yes, ma'am.
Haribo.
Haribo.
My question is, if I do good things, can it counteract the bad karma that I have made?
Yes. That's the whole point of karma. Karma is the balancing of the good with the bad. And only human beings really experience this. But there is a problem. If I steal the food from somebody's plate, that's bad karma. That means that somebody's going to steal some food from my plate. So if I go back to that person and I give them a whole bunch of money and I say, I'm sorry, I stole food from your plate. Here's some money. Go buy some food. Or if I give food to somebody else, pay it forward kind of idea. Pay it forward, pay it forward. You get a blessing, you give a blessing. The problem is that for everything good that you do, then some good has to come of it. For everything bad that you do, then something bad has to come of it. It is this balancing of good and bad karma. This is why karma yoga exists. Karma yoga is not a balancing act. Karma yoga is not trying to, even out the good with the bad. That is not the purpose of karma yoga. The purpose of karma yoga is to be engaged in akarma, or nice karma. That is, karma that has no good or bad result. How is this done? By offering whatever you do. Whether some may look at it and say, oh, that's good, or some may look at it and say, oh, that's bad. For the karma yogi, it is neither. It is an offering to Krishna. And by offering their activities to Krishna in karma yoga, their karma is wiped clean. Their karma slate, as it were, is wiped clean. But above karma yoga is bhakti. Karma is like, we say hatha yoga is like the first step in yoga to exercise, to stretch the body, yada, yada, yada. Well, karma yoga is a step above hatha, but then a step above that is bhakti. where one not only offers everything they do, but they offer directly to Krishna. They offer flowers, they offer food, they offer their life, their soul, their being, not just their actions, but their thoughts, everything they offer to Krishna in bhakti, in love, in a loving relationship. They seek out to Krishna, they cry out for Krishna. And the true bhakti, the true bhakta, has no thought in doing whatever they do, but that it is for Krishna. It is to please Krishna. Not just a matter of offering it to Krishna, but to please Krishna with love. Love, devotion. This is the real. Karma doesn't even, I mean, it's like way back there. You know, when one comes to you know, as we practice sadhana bhakti, the practice of bhakti, yoga, we are engaging automatically in karma yoga by our offering, by, you know, but as this becomes more and more a part, as our true nature is revealed to us and our relationship with Krishna is revealed to us in loving devotion, then the karma yoga takes a back seat to love. Loving, serving, crying out for Krishna. A very good question, thank you. A lot of people don't understand karma at all. And they just think, well, I'll just keep doing good. Well, they don't, that's not going to keep you from having to come back in another body. It's not going to save you from, you know, taking on another body in your next life. So, the idea, yeah, you know, you can say, well, you know, at least I'll come back as a human, and at least I'll have, you know, good stuff coming back to me, and maybe I'll be rich like, you know, like the guy from Apple or the guy from Microsoft, you know. I'll be rich like the guy from Apple, but he died. He's got nothing anymore. It doesn't save you from death. I'm sorry? Yes, he had cancer of the liver. And he tried to, you know, have herbs and stuff to you know, he tried very, very hard to get rid of it, and it didn't work. His time to die was his time to die. There was nothing, but what he would have been better off doing is preparing to die. Yeah, he got all kinds of, he even had a liver transplant. But instead of doing that, or along with doing that, he should have been preparing for death, preparing to understand his loving eternal relationship with God. And then death, where is thy sting? Right? This is what we all seek. Shelter from death, from suffering. We're all looking for shelter from suffering. We're all looking for shelter from death. How can I die without fear? Most of us are overcome with fear. When we see someone, I have a little, what do you call those? A meme, I guess it is, on my Facebook page about this Filipino girl. She's crossing the street, and she slips on the street. I think it had to do with the volcanic ash on the street. Everything became very slippery. She slips on the street and falls down just as a truck is coming. And she falls just after the front tire of the truck, she falls under the truck, just after the front tire, and she flips around her head to where, and the truck stops, and her head is like this far from the back tire. And you look at it and you're like, oh my God. Oh, you immediately, you identify with that. You put yourself in that situation and you're like, holy crap. She was lucky. But as a devotee, I'm not saying that moment of shock isn't going to be there, but it's like Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Krishna. And so the fear, the abject fear, the terror of death is not there. This is the beauty of real loving devotional service. This is what Jesus taught. This is what Muhammad taught. This is even what the Buddha taught. To overcome death and to become a servant. Of course, the Buddha said, serve me, but he is Krishna, so. This is the essence of all spiritual life. To lovingly engage in God's service. This is it. If you're going to sum up all religion, all spiritual engagement in one simple sentence, it is to lovingly engage in the glorification and service of God. That is it. That is what we want to aspire to. And that's the beauty of sadhana bhakti. That's the beauty of understanding bhakti by taking initiation from a spiritual master who knows these things and can teach you. Well, but how do I know? I mean, I'm playing music in a rock and roll band. Can't I just offer that to God? Yeah, you can. But a spiritual master will be able to show you a better way. So, offer your life to God. Offer your service to God. Offer every waking moment to God in every way you can. Learn to love God. Engage in sadhana bhakti, the practice of bhakti yoga, which, when that transcendental love awakens in your heart, will not change. Again, this is the beauty of sadhana bhakti, is that it's not like, oh, I become enlightened and then I just go off to the forest and sit under a tree and meditate. No. I become enlightened and I continue doing the same things that I was doing before. It's so simple. It's so beautiful. It's so perfect. Love of God. And, as we love God, I find that, maybe this is just me, but I find that I empathize more and more. I find myself crying over, stupid little things that go wrong with my daughter or go wrong with somebody else's family or something like that. And I immediately, I'm like, I shouldn't be crying over this. I'm offering it to Krishna. Krishna, let me cry for you. Let me cry for you. Let me desire only you. But I think that as we become more and more devoted to Krishna, we become more and more empathetic and sympathetic with his parts and parcels. That's why the idea of killing animals, especially killing animals in a factory of nothing but animal killing, is so abhorrent to a devotee. The devotee is always concerned with life. And even though he knows that life is eternal, nevertheless, he's always trying to ease the suffering of others in any way he can. But of course, the most important way is to give them Krishna. So, not only chant Hare Krishna, not only offer your food, but give Krishna to others. As much as you can, in any way possible, give Krishna to others. This is so pleasing, because this is how to ease their suffering. This is how to ease their difficulties in life. A devotee doesn't worry about money. They don't worry about having a soft pillow. They can live anywhere. They can have whatever, be completely poverty-stricken or live in a palace. It doesn't matter. It's the same. Simply wanting to serve Krishna. Somebody better answer the phone. If your phone is not on vibrate or something like that, please put it on vibrate so it doesn't bother anybody. So again, are there any questions? Thoughts? Yes, again.
One of the girls asked,
Yes.
can a devotee decide when to leave the body?
A pure devotee can. It's simply a matter of becoming so engrossed in Krishna that the body is no longer even, you're not even conscious of it. But for most of us, death comes as death comes. And our hope and goal is to be prepared for it always. Because you never know. When you fall under a bus, you don't know. So, can a devotee? Yes, a pure devotee can. And it's like Bhishma, he was full of arrows, and still he was alive. This is common among pure devotees. Sometimes they may keep their body alive much longer. But the heart attack that Bhaktivedanta Swami had in New York, that was supposed to be it. According to his chart, his astrology, that was it. That was as long as he was supposed to live. But he went on for another 10 years. So. But he would not say that he did it. He would say Krishna did it. Krishna gave him an extra few years to teach. It was not him. So, does that answer your question? Does that answer your question? Haribol. Haribol. Thank you very much. Let's chant. Haribol.